I enjoy his work immensely on ESPN, and I don't think we've ever met. So this is the first time I have a chance to say hello to Kendrick Perkins, longtime NBA player and now great analyst on The Jump and so much more on ESPN. How you doing, Kendrick?
Rich, how you doing, man? Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming on here, Kendrick. So let's get into it. I saw your tweet last night about how you were enjoying the old school nature of the Knicks and the Lakers. We don't usually see type of play like that anymore in the NBA. Certainly not this year. Let's put it that way, right?
And we're talking about two teams that are two of the best defensive teams in the NBA. And when you look at it, they hang their hats on that. That was one of those games where we enjoyed it, right? Like you enjoyed every minute of the competition, guys guarding each other, sprinting back on defense. And look, this is why we should all be applauding the NBA for adding in the play-in tournament, because no way in hell would we have seen a game like this if the play-in tournament wasn't in existence, right? This late into it was that old school, get it in the trenches, no easy layups, no easy shots. Everything was contested. That's how the game's supposed to be played, Rich.
No, I like what you just said, Kendrick, because just in the previous segment, we went to break before calling you up about how I'm wondering if the NBA would lament the fact that they do have a play-in tournament as much as we've been talking about it and can't wait for it. That you don't want you'll take the Lakers and the Warriors in right now as opposed to run the risk of losing Curry or LeBron from the Western Conference playoffs. But you're saying that if the Lakers didn't have a reason 8 games over 500 to play a game like that last night, and that the play-in tournament would have been that, we wouldn't have seen last night's game. Essentially,
yeah, exactly, and that goes around the entire NBA. Like you're looking forward to watching games tonight that we probably would have never looked forward to watching, like the Hawks and Wizards. Both of those teams are playing for. That's the thing that you like, and also throughout the whole NBA thing about the play-in tournament is that it holds teams, players, organizations accountable for the regular season and not to take it for granted. And look, I'm a firm believer of this. Okay, every action has a reaction. So it started with the load management, in my opinion. Guys started load managing. Guys not really performing like they should. Guys doing things to that nature, not showing up to games where fans pay their hard-earned money. So guess what? The NBA say, okay, y'all want to take the regular season for granted? Let's throw in the play-in. That means every regular season game means something if you're trying to accomplish a goal.
Kendrick Perkins of ESPN here on the Rich Eisen Show. Who's your MVP?
So right now, my MVP, and it changed because I was originally going with CP3, okay? But Phoenix has had a drop-off, and it's been fluctuating, all right? And so with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and say it right now that you have to give it to Jokic. You have to give it to Jokic. You have to have Jamal Murray and the numbers that he's putting up, them because of his performances. I would have to go with Big Jokic down there in Denver. Like Greg Popovich would say, the modern-day Larry Bird.
Well, the issue for me on that, Kendrick, is that we really weren't talking about him for it until Jamal Murray went down. And, I know he's played every game this year, and I know his statistics have been remarkable, and the Nuggets are still a championship threat. But I don't know if I wouldn't give it to Curry, because if we're going to say to Jokic that he's done what he's done and avoided his team getting the fork stuck in him by an injury bug, then we should afford the same thing to Curry with Klay Thompson, even though that didn't happen during the season.
Yeah, but we can't give not at the 8th seed though. We're talking about like you can't give a guy the MVP. And look, I'm all in for Curry. I think he's must-see TV. Don't get me wrong, he's having an exceptional year, but we can't reward Curry and they're being an 8th seed and they possibly could be a 9th seed. If that's the case, we could reward Russell Westbrook.
Who's your MVP in the East then?
my MVP in the East is Joel Embiid. I mean, I know he missed, 19 to 20 games, but what he's been doing for us, putting up 30 points, 10 rebounds, and shoot 50% from the field, he has arguably been the best player in the Eastern Conference. And that's saying a lot when you have over there in the East. By the way, Philly is sitting at the number one spot. And look, every single night, people knows that the ball is going through Joel Embiid, and they still cannot stop this man. He's a 275-pound version of a. So that's in the East. That's my MVP.
All right, Kendrick, let's hold on. Kendrick, your phone goes in and out. We're going to call you right back here on the Rich Eisen Show. How are you, Kendrick? You there?
Hey, fellas, sorry about that. Y'all know I'm right now I've been living in the hotel room since the ice storm hit because it messed up my home. So sometimes the signal go in and out in this hotel room. But I'm right back.
You sound great. Well, the thing that caused me to say let's call Kendrick back is you said Embiid is a 275-pound version of, and then you went out. So pick that one up.
Hakeem Olajuwon.
That's it.
Yeah, Hakeem Olajuwon. I mean, look at his footwork, everything about him. I mean, the soft touch, the turnarounds over both shoulders. I mean, obviously, Embiid expanded his game. He has the Euro steps, the in and outs. But, hey, if Hakeem was playing in this game, I'm pretty sure he could do a Euro step as well. So that's who I think is the best player in my eyes in the Eastern Conference right now. No one can stop him.
Which team is under the radar for you going into the playoffs, Kendrick Perkins? And you couldn't even include the 1 seed in the West. The Suns seem to be getting more run than Utah because we're waiting, I guess, for Donovan Mitchell to come back and be healthy. I'll give you another option. There's a team here in Los Angeles that gets under the radar every single day that they exist. What's the most under the radar team that you got right now entering the playoffs?
Well, when I talk about under the radar, I want to talk about a team that no one is talking about, right? No one. And I'm not talking about the Lakers. I'm not talking about the Clippers. I'm not talking about the Knicks or the Nets or the Phillies or even Miami. Can we talk about the Atlanta Hawks for a second?
Do it.
Let's talk about Atlanta Hawks, right? Candidate for Coach of the Year, Nate McMillan, has done a great job. Trae Young has been flying under the radar. I don't know how, because he's been putting up monster numbers scoring-wise and dropping assists. And then you look at John Collins, who should be a candidate right under Julius Randle for most improved. Clint Capella has arguably been the best defensive center probably right after Rudy Gobert as far as his impact on the game. They have shooting in Bogdanovich. They have bench scoring in Gallinari and Lou Will. And it's just like they have the makeup, and they're winning games, and they're steady flying under the radar, and everyone is taking this team for granted. Everyone is saying, oh, well, we can't wait to get the Hawks in the first-round matchup. Like, the Hawks are no pushover. They're in the middle of the pack of the Eastern Conference for a reason.
So, Kendrick Perkins here on the Rich Eisen Show. Now that you're part of the paparazzi, have you pissed off anybody that you know or consider a friend in the league based on what you've said? Because you pull no punches, Kendrick.
Oh yeah, I piss them off all the time. But you know what we do. But see, let me tell y'all something, okay?
Yes.
Let me address this situation,
please.
The same Kendrick Perkins that you hear talking right now, or that you may hear saying something on television about someone, is the same Kendrick Perkins they knew that I would say the same thing in the locker room. Like, so guys know that the things that the perk that they see now is the same perk that they saw for years, especially guys that I shared the floor with, right, that I played on the same team with. So all those guys know stuff. I get text messages and be like, Perk, you crazy for that statement. Then we'll call each other, we'll argue for a minute, then we'll hang up, but we still friends. But you know the thing that I love is that all the guys that I played with, all the guys that I call my brothers that are still in the NBA, even Kevin Durant, right? That's still my brother. Me and KD still talk. And they all know that I have a job to do, right? And they know I'm not going to be biased. I'm going to call it like I see it. If they play bad, I'm going to say it, but I'm going to be the first to give them their flowers as well. So we have that understanding.
But you do get texts of people saying what, and then you have a conversation. You hash it out. Like that has happened.
Yeah, they text me and then I call them. They text me and then I call them. I don't call them pissed off. I call them trying to laugh it off a little bit.
Is that the flowers as well? That's the flowers?
I mean, and look, they get understanding from where I'm coming from, and we just talk about it. I'd rather not say, but I get text messages in there.
But you and Durant, you're good? Everybody's good? You're good with everybody going to the playoffs?
I'm good. I'm good. They know. Hey, man, look, like I tell them, I'm the same perk y'all been knowing. I'm just on the other side. I'm in the media, and y'all know I'm watching the game. I may be wrong 20% of the time, but I'm right 80% of the time.
Good percentage in this biz.
Was that better than your free throw shooting? What percentage was that? Were you 80% from the line?
Better than my free throw shooting. My free throw shooting was probably about 60%.
Oh, man. Look, I know we just met, Kendrick, but how do I get invited to Paul Pierce's Shabbat dinner? How do I do that?
You don't want to do that.
No.
You don't want to do that. Hey, Rich, look, we don't want to do that. We don't want to do that. And if we do get invited, we want to make sure that all phones are compensated at the front door.
But I got to make sure I tell my wife that everything's fine, unless she's watching. She could be watching it live. You never know, Oh, my gosh. That was something else, man.
It was.
So your championship years, do you think you could have won more at the time, those championship years? Kendrick Perkins, another one, more than just the 08? Where do you stand on that subject?
I do. I think in 2010, we would have beat the Lakers if I wouldn't have gotten injured. Just remember, right, when healthy, our starting five never lost the playoff series. So, we had one game, and we had to win one game out of two, and I figured we was going to get the job done if I would have played. Just think about it. We was up 14 points in Game 7 going into the fourth quarter, and they just out-rebounded us. KG was worn down from banging with Bynum and Gasol, and that's why I would have took the load off of them. So I know for sure I would have had 2 rings up under in my trophy case.
So do you think, Doc, what has he brought to Philly, Kendrick, that clearly – he was trying to put together here in Los Angeles, and in Philadelphia, we all know what their troubles were over the last couple of years. What do you think he's brought to this equation?
See, Doc is great with personalities. Doc is great with chemistry. If you're a guy that want to be bought in, and if you're a guy that want to be held accountable. So this was a perfect situation. You have 2 guys, young guys, that in Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, that look up to Doc and value Doc. That's the first step, right? Mm-hmm. And then Doc is great at putting guys in position to be successful. That's why we see Joel Embiid doing what he do, because Doc is saying, no, Joel, you don't have to just go on the block. If you want to bring it up, if you want to do in and out crossovers, however you want to get into your offensive bag, go ahead and be yourself. Ben Simmons, you don't have to shoot a jumper. If you want to be a facilitator and lead the league in assisted 3-point shot, then do that. Be the best version of Ben. And when you get a coach that buys in and appreciate what you do and not try to make you into something you're not, then you get the results that the Philadelphia 76ers are getting right now. Just remember, Tobias Harris had his best year under Doc Rivers before Philadelphia with the Clippers. He's having another great year right now. Dwight Howard is playing exceptionally well. And then you add the defensive coach, Yeager, from Memphis, that was in Memphis when they was going through the grind. You remember with Tony Allen and all them. They had one of the best defensive teams in the league. He's over the defense. So it's no secret why they're great offensively and they're great defensively, because Doc has that Tom Thibodeau, Doc Rivers relationship that he had in Boston. It's the chemistry.
Kendrick, I appreciate the time. Let's do this more. I really appreciate you calling in. Like I said, I've really enjoyed watching you on ESPN and your ability to dissect something and then also weave in your own personal experience. It's not easy to do, transitioning from the court or the field to a microphone or a studio. I really enjoy watching. My youngest son is a diehard Celtic fan, so I'm seeing a lot of your work that you do for that as well. And so I appreciate the time.
I appreciate you. And hey, look, anytime have me on. I'm a huge fan. And I know I talk slow and country at times, but y'all get what I be saying.
No, I'm
just saying.
I've picked up everything that you've put down, Kendrick Perkins. Everything.
I appreciate it.
Okay, the ESPN Hoop Streams co-host and also analyst on The Jump and so much more. Kendrick Perkins here on the Rich Eisen Show. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.